Welcome to our U.S. briefing program. Today, we dive into some significant news highlights. First up, the Trump administration is making headlines with a drastic cut to foreign aid, slashing over 90% of USAID contracts and aiming to reduce overall foreign aid by a whopping $60 billion. This move is part of a broader strategy to streamline aid, but it's leaving many nonprofits in a tough spot as thousands of contracts are terminated. In other news, the Pentagon has laid out a new policy affecting transgender troops, stating that those diagnosed with gender dysphoria can only serve if they meet specific warfighting needs. This controversial decision has sparked debates about military readiness and inclusion, as it reaffirms the administration's stance on gender identity within the armed forces. Lastly, we've seen a troubling resurgence of measles in the U.S., with the first reported death from the disease in a decade. This tragic incident underscores the importance of vaccination as over 130 cases have been reported in Texas and New Mexico, primarily among unvaccinated individuals. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage on these pressing issues. Nikkei Asia reports that the Trump administration has announced a staggering reduction in foreign aid contracts, cutting over 90% of the U.S. Agency for International Development's USAID budget, amounting to $60 billion in overall assistance. This drastic measure is part of a broader strategy to streamline government spending and align foreign aid more closely with American interests. The administration's internal memo highlighted a commitment to eliminating what it termed significant waste from decades of aid practices, which has led to widespread concern among nonprofits and advocacy groups who are now left scrambling to save the few remaining programs. The memo also indicated that the administration would be terminating thousands of contracts at a rapid pace, leaving many organizations in dire financial situations as they await payments. According to the Associated Press, the Pentagon has unveiled a new transgender troop policy that disqualifies any service member diagnosed with gender dysphoria from serving unless they can demonstrate a specific warfighting need. This policy builds on President Trump's earlier executive order and reflects a belief that the presence of transgender personnel may compromise military effectiveness. Exceptions are made only on a case-by-case basis, and even then, individuals must adhere to strict guidelines regarding their biological sex. The implications of this policy are significant, as it not only affects the inclusion of transgender individuals in the military but also reinforces traditional gender norms within military operations. Al Jazeera echoes the sentiment of the drastic cuts to foreign aid, noting that the review led to a 92% reduction in multi-year contracts and a 28% reduction in grants, all part of the America First agenda. The cuts are intended to allow remaining programs to be more efficiently managed and closely aligned with the administration's priorities. While some critical programs, such as food assistance and medical treatments for diseases, were spared, the overall impact on global humanitarian efforts is expected to be profound. Critics argue that these eliminations will hinder U.S. efforts in counterterrorism, global health, and food security, raising questions about the long-term consequences of such a retreat from international aid commitments. Deutsche Welle reports on Friedrich Merz's unexpected visit to Paris, where the German politician met with French President Emmanuel Macron shortly after his conservative CDU-CSU bloc emerged as the largest party in the recent German elections. The discussions primarily focused on European security amidst changing U.S. policies regarding Ukraine. Merz expressed gratitude for Macron's support of German-French relations, emphasizing the potential for collaboration between their nations to achieve significant outcomes for Europe. However, despite the electoral success, Merz's party must navigate coalition talks to form a government, as they did not secure enough seats to govern alone, with the AfD party's involvement ruled out. Al Jazeera highlights a troubling public health crisis in the United States, reporting the first measles death since 2015, which occurred during a recent outbreak in Texas. The deceased was an unvaccinated child, amid a backdrop of declining vaccination rates and rising vaccine skepticism, particularly within certain communities. The outbreak has been attributed to the spread of the disease among unvaccinated individuals, with more than 130 cases reported this year. The situation has drawn criticism towards Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the newly appointed health official known for promoting discredited vaccine theories, who downplayed the outbreak's severity during a cabinet meeting. South China Morning Post discusses the unveiling of China's groundbreaking geosynchronous radar satellite, Luditanz 4-01, which provides a continuous view of one-third of the Earth's surface from an altitude of 36,000 kilometers. This satellite, equipped with advanced technology allowing it to penetrate cloud cover and darkness, raises concerns in the U.S. military regarding China's enhanced surveillance capabilities. Although China claims the satellite is for civilian use, such as disaster monitoring and weather observation, experts warn that it could significantly improve military tracking and targeting abilities. The timing of the technology's disclosure appears strategic, showcasing China's advancements in electronic warfare and potentially placing rivals at a disadvantage. Australian Broadcasting Corporation reports that Australia has faced a significant loss of over 10% of its laying hens due to bird flu in the past year, leading to ongoing egg shortages. Authorities have culled approximately 2.4 million birds to manage outbreaks of avian influenza, particularly the H7 strain, which has severely impacted the poultry sector. Despite these challenges, Australia has managed to avoid the more dangerous H5N1 strain that has devastated chicken flocks globally. The situation has raised concerns about rising egg prices, with free-range egg prices increasing by 25% since 2010 and major retailers imposing purchase limits due to dwindling supplies. The price surge mirrors trends in the United States, where egg costs have skyrocketed by 200% over the past decade. In a separate development covered by Diplomat, Uyghur rights groups are urgently appealing to Thailand to halt the deportation of 48 asylum seekers from China's Xinjiang region, who have been detained for over a decade. Reports suggest that Thai authorities may be preparing to return these individuals to China, where they face a credible risk of persecution, imprisonment, or worse. The Campaign for Uyghurs and other rights organizations have called for immediate action to prevent the deportations and facilitate safe resettlement for the Uyghurs, highlighting the dire conditions within Thailand's immigration detention center. Despite denials from the Thai government regarding deportation plans, recent activities near the detention center have raised alarms. The plight of these Uyghurs reflects broader concerns about human rights and the treatment of refugees, especially in the context of international relations and the ongoing crisis in Xinjiang. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.